I'm back from Chicago, that is. I was actually just there for my birthday weekend, my 31st birthday, and it was my dream to see Hamilton this year. I really wanted to see it in Detroit, but it was way too expensive. It was like $200+ per ticket, and I was like, nope. So then I found it for a much more affordable price in Chicago, and I was like, I gotta go to this thing. It's now or never. So I went. This is my playbill from Hamilton, and it was way different than I expected. So I actually wanted to do a review for all of you guys. I wrote down some notes on a Ticketmaster envelope after I saw the musical because I wanted to share my thoughts because there is quite a bit that I want to say. So first, Hamilton focused on the life and death of Alexander Hamilton, along with his relationships with the founding fathers, his family, his wife, and the musical also touched upon his very scandalous affair. So it was really interesting. It touched upon everything pretty much. I loved the music. A lot of the songs were rap songs, so I found myself bobbing my head. I was feeling good. And then most of the other parts I was like, because I was just watching in awe at the dancing and the music, and I was like, wow, this is really good. So you really had to focus on the words though in the songs. I really need to go back and actually read the lyrics because obviously they were rap songs, so I couldn't really hear all of the words that they were saying. But the songs were jam-packed with facts. I mean, it was basically like Schoolhouse Rock Founding Fathers edition on stage, and it was a lot to consume, but it was just so enriching to my knowledge. So I got a lot out of it. The other thing that I really enjoyed was seeing all of the children in the audience. There are so many fan kids of Hamilton, and I'm really not sure how they heard about the musical. I don't know if it's talked about in their schools, but it's nice to see that kids are interested in learning about history at least. I would have loved to see a musical about Jefferson, Grover Cleveland, Calvin Coolidge, let's say. But hey, this is a good start, at least. It gets these children's attention. So at first when I was watching the musical, I found that it was slightly confusing to follow along with which character was which, because the cast was so diverse. And so, for example, Thomas Jefferson and George Washington were played by African American characters. And I looked up after the musical about the diversity in the cast, and they actually said they purposely did this to try to create a more modern experience so that people could relate to this musical as it relates to our modern society, because obviously in society today, we are a very diverse group of people here in America. And I also really liked how the musical included a lot of the founding fathers, not just Alexander Hamilton. So there was George Washington, Aaron Burr, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison. So they were able to provide their varying viewpoints. And it was really funny because I was so looking forward to Thomas Jefferson. I was wearing my Thomas Jefferson socks at the musical. And so when he came out, I was cheering. I was like, woo! And so it was definitely the highlight. And then I couldn't help myself, but when they started saying that Alexander Hamilton wanted to start the first central bank, I actually said, boo! And I realized that I did that after the fact, and I don't think people were very upset by it, but it was kind of funny that that was my automatic reaction. And I would say that one of my favorite characters in the musical was King George III. He was hilarious. I mean, his songs were on point. His personality was so funny. He added great comic relief to the musical. So I surprisingly liked him almost the best because he was the most entertaining to me. I'm really glad that before I went to the musical, I had done some studying about Alexander Hamilton through Liberty Classroom. I listened to How Alexander Hamilton Screwed Up America on there, and I've also learned about the Founding Fathers through my readings. And if I hadn't known anything about them, I think I would have been really confused during the musical, especially since the songs were so fast and it was hard to hear a lot of the lyrics. So I actually learned a lot of new things too from the musical that I hadn't known before. For example, I never knew that Alexander Hamilton's son Philip died in a duel as well. I mean, what kind of coincidence is that? That's crazy. And there were also some other facts that I want to fact check. So for example, there was one about how Martha Washington named her feral tomcat after Alexander Hamilton. And so after the musical, I actually looked it up, and a lot of people are saying that that's not true. So just like any other movie or Broadway show that you go to, always verify after you hear something, because it might not always be accurate. They might just be trying to make a better show, and so they might say something that's not completely correct. So just be cautious, obviously, whenever you go to any show. So I would say that overall, Hamilton was a really educational musical, a great historical overview. I learned so much myself. I now am motivated to further my learning, especially about Aaron Burr, because I really didn't know much about him going into the musical. And while I was sitting at the musical, I was wondering about the audience members. And I was thinking, I wonder how many of them have done research before coming to the musical about this time period, and how many of them want to further their knowledge after going to this musical. Because as we know, education is key to spreading liberty throughout this nation. And so I'm really hopeful that because Hamilton is so popular throughout the United States, that maybe this means that people are interested in learning more about the liberty movement. I hope my review of Hamilton was helpful to all of you. I would really encourage you to go see the musical if you're able, if it's close to your hometown. Definitely watch the ticket prices. If you can, go to Chicago, because I know the ticket prices are way more affordable there. And also, if you can do me a favor, please like my video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am having a really fun time making these videos. This has just kind of happened organically, and I'm really hoping to make a lot more of them in this coming year. So thanks for watching, and have a great week ahead. Bye!